Hello and welcome to my review of the Scinari Calligrave for Lumineth Realm-Lords for Warhammer The Age of Sigmar from Games Workshop. Now, one of these miniatures will cost you £20.50, comprises of 10 plastic components and a 32mm round base. The format of this review is as follows. I'll have a look at the Calligrave up close. We'll go through some size comparisons and then I'll go through all of the rules for the Calligrave at the end. Now, first things first, I need to say I did unbox this about 3 years ago. I think it was in a blister pack, which is why I don't have a box for it, and that's the same for the Lore Seeker. I will be doing a review of the Lore Seeker very soon too, as well as a final kind of full review of the Lumineth collection at the end, so stay tuned for those. So the Calligrave itself, it's an odd model, I'll give you that. I'm not a massive fan. I much prefer the Lore Seeker or the Blade Lords, the Banner Blade and Lyrior. But let's have a little look. One of the issues I think I have with this is just these kind of stilt type high heel things. It's kind of like a stilt shoe things that he's sort of wearing. Very odd. I mean, yeah, I guess I like the kind of painting the symbols and things on this floating bit of paper. I like any kind of models that are painting or doing something artistic. The blade looks quite nice in that sheath, but you know, we don't really see it. It's got some nice symbols on there, and the lantern, I guess it's quite cool how there's a hook to it as well. And he's even got like a couple of different size brushes mounted onto that lantern. The headdress is quite cool, I guess, as well. Yeah, it's just this bit here, the sort of shoes that sort of get me. But yeah, there we go. So that's the model up close. I'll go straight on to some size comparisons then. So here he is next to a Lore Seeker. Lore Seeker came out similar time, bit shorter. An actual Blade Lord is shorter, and again it's just to add this height. So they've done away with like a tactical rock and things, and they've just straight up given him kind of like stilts. Compared to Elithor and Alania, they are of course taller, and compared to Lyrior as well, shorter than Lyrior. So it's going to be slightly taller than your sort of base troops, but obviously shorter than all your cavalry and things. Compared to some 40k miniatures then, so we have a Primaris on the right, have a Space Marine, and then we have Slimarbo. So taller than a Space Marine, I guess taller than Primaris now, yep, and way taller than Slimarbo. So yeah, only because of those stilts. So this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Calligrave, give you an idea of whether you think this model is worth it in your games. The Calligrave itself is a points cost of 100 and is a leader, so I guess expensive, but similar sort of price points to the mages, bit cheaper than the mages. So definitely one of the cheapest leaders that you can get. I think it is the cheapest leader you can get, and its stat line is a movement of 6 inches, so save of 5+, bravery 7, and 5 wounds. So yeah, nowhere near as good as a Lore Seeker in that way. A Scinari Calligrave is a single model armed with a Calligrave blade, which is quite decent, although we don't see it because it's on his back. The Calligrave blade is a melee weapon. It's a range of 3 inches. D3 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend of -1 to rend, and damage of D3. So that's quite nice. Nice if you get sort of 3 attacks and damage 3, but not so good if you only get 1 attack and damage 1. Abilities then. Realm Scribe. Once per battle in your hero phase, instead of attempting to cast any spells with one friendly model with this ability, you can roll a dice. Add the number of the current battle round to the roll. On a 5+, pick a point anywhere on the battlefield. For the rest of the battle, do not take battle shock tests for friendly Lumineth Realm-Lords units that are wholly within 9 inches of that point, and add 1 to casting. Dispelling and unbinding rolls for friendly Lumineth Realm-Lords wizards that are within 9 inches of that point. So that's a bit of a confusing ability, but basically, instead of casting any spells with one friendly model with the ability, you just roll the dice and then you add the battle round. So let's just say it's 1, and then on a 5+, you can pick any point in that battlefield, and then for the rest of that battle, don't take any realm shock, don't take any battle shock tests for Lumineth units within 9 inches of that point. So it's like a little bubble that he's put, and you get to add 1 to casting, dispelling and unbinding rolls for any wizards within 9 inches of that point as well. So that can be quite useful, basically like a little rune, any point on the battlefield, which is really going to help your wizards out. Magic. This model is a wizard, of course. It can attempt to cast 1 spell in your hero phase and attempt to unbind 1 spell in the enemy hero phase. It knows the Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield and Erasure spells. Now, super. What's an Erasure spell? Well, it's not that film that Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in, that's Eraser, but Erasure has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy hero within 24 inches of the caster. You can either inflict D3 mortal wounds on that hero or mark them for erasure. However, if that hero is already marked for erasure, then instead they suffer D6 mortal wounds and they are no longer marked for erasure. So that could be useful. You know, it depends on, you know, the casting value of 7's pretty high, but you've also got to be within 24 inches of a enemy hero, which is, yeah, a bit of a gamble considering the Calligrave blade isn't like the best. There's a lot of, you know, D3 this and D3 that. It's a bit of a gamble how good that blade is. But if you want to take that risk, you know, there's potential of inflicting D3 mortal wounds on the hero or marking them for erasure. And obviously, if you're marking them for erasure, then the next time you get to make sure that they suffer D6 mortal wounds. So it might be worth just getting within 24 inches, marking them for erasure, and then the next turn, you know, D6 mortal wounds. Pretty scary. So they're the 2 reasons why you'd go for the Calligrave. It is not the save or the wounds or the movement or anything like that. It's mainly for that erasure magic and also buffing your wizards in that 9-inch bubble. What do you guys think of the model? Do you think it's a bit odd, like I do, or do you quite fancy it? And what do you think of the rules? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Techless Protects.